So Donald Trump suffered a stinging defeat in a right-wing Republican congressional district in Texas. Let's talk about it in today's video. Hi, I'm Mike Greiner. I'm a lifelong Democratic activist who's concerned about the direction our country is taking. If you share my concerns, maybe you could like this video and subscribe to this channel, and maybe even click that little bell that will notify you when I post something new. So it appears that Republican state legislator Jake Ellzey has defeated Susan Wright in the race to replace Susan Wright's husband, Congressman Ron Wright, who died of that non-existent virus COVID-19. Now, this result is a stinging rebuke of Donald Trump, who endorsed Wright and campaigned aggressively for her, even spending money out of his own political action funds to help her win. One Trump-allied organization even took out ads claiming that Democrats were trying to get Ellzey elected. Now, to be fair here, both candidates are pretty right-wing. Neither of them are going to question Trump's proclamations from on high. But this is a district that Trump won by substantial margins in the last two elections, and has had a Republican member of Congress for years. The reason that you had two Republicans running against each other in this suburban Dallas district is that for special elections, Texas has what's called a jungle primary, which means that everybody gets on the ballot, and the top two vote getters, if nobody gets more than 50%, face off in a runoff general election. Well, in this case, unfortunately, Democrats managed to fumble the ball because there were 23 candidates running in this race, most of them Democrats. As a result, progressives and liberals divided up the vote among ourselves, ushering in a situation where both Republicans were able to be the finalists. The top vote-getting Democrat, Jana Lynn Sanchez, actually missed getting on the general election ballot by only 354 votes. A real disappointment for sure. It's just one more example of what Will Rogers once said, "I don't belong to an organized political party, I'm a Democrat." Despite that fact, this would have been a tough race for any Democrat to win, especially given the district's partisan lean and the fact that in special elections you tend to have very low turnout. What's notable about it, though, is that Wright hoped that Trump's endorsement would take her across the finish line, and obviously that didn't happen. To make matters worse for Trump, he actually had essentially set this race up as a test of his credibility. And the media followed right along with that, writing articles with headlines such as Trump's Texas Test. And as always, I'll post links to the relevant articles down below. So one might say, big deal. A Republican won in a Republican district, why do Democrats care? Aside from the symbolic defeat, though, that this delivers to Donald Trump, it says something important about Trump's influence within the Republican Party. Trump, with his passionate right-wing supporters, is able to marshal enough support to win a Republican primary. That's why Republican office holders cower in front of his bluster. But once you get to the larger universe of a general election, suddenly Trump doesn't have enough support. In other words, Trump has a majority of the Republican primary voters, but a minority of the general election voters. My hope as a Democratic activist is that his support will end up with the Republicans nominating in 2022 a bunch of unelectable general election candidates simply because of the fact that Donald Trump endorses them. This is going to be a long-term problem for Republicans, and frankly, it's the best hope that we as Democrats have of avoiding the curse of the midterm election, where the incumbent president's party generally loses seats. As we all know, the Democrats' margin in both houses of Congress is very narrow, and any loss would certainly cause a big problem for Democrats in trying to achieve Joe Biden's agenda. Well, if you agree with me or disagree with me or have any questions about this special election, I'd love to see your comments down below. If you could like this video and subscribe to this channel, that'd be a huge help. I'll see you in the next video, and in the meantime, let's hope for continued progress. Thank you.